I want to just mention a Hebrew word, and that word is para. Figuratively, it is used throughout the Old Testament to describe something else, loose living, basically. This is really a description of the end times. I mean, really, you could take all the different passages about the end times, but particularly about professing Christians in the end times, and you could just say para. That's it. Para. That's the descriptor. By and large. Not totally, but by and large. Jesus said that lawlessness will be prevalent. Lawlessness. A lack of coming under God's rule in their lives. People out of control. And he compared the spiritual atmosphere to the time of Noah, when every intent of the thoughts of man's heart were only evil continually. And you just think, men, think about how filled your minds have been with evil thoughts, at least before you came here. And that's not just sexual sin, and it's not just those in sexual sin. It's really a prevailing thing. He also compared it to Sodom and Gomorrah, where people were utterly given over to the worst forms of debauchery. And when the Apostle Paul talked about the apostate church in 2 Timothy 3, he gives this, I mean, you could just feel it brewing inside of him. He's in prison in Rome. He's seeing his brothers and sisters in the Lord thrown to the lions. I mean, you talk about urgency. You talk about a reality of life and death. He was living in it. But then, in that environment, probably in some dark, dank cell, the Lord gives him a sight of the church of the end times. And it just comes welling up, and it's like the words just, the adjectives just fly out of his mouth. I mean, he's overwhelmed. And he says, perilous times will come. Why? Because men will be full of self-love. Instead of loving God with all their heart, instead of loving others like as themselves, they love themselves. And then this rush of descriptive words, terms. And in the middle there, without self-control. Why? Because they're lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Oh, they have the form of godliness, but they keep the power of God at bay. That whole descriptive, just bring it all together. And it's a picture of this word para. Being without restraint.